Hey everybody, I am here today with an amazing, I would say just a creative altogether, but her name is Andrea Audige, and she is the creator of Maka Dreads. It's a media company, and she's the creative director. So welcome to the turnaround, Andrea.
Thank you for having me.
So let's just get straight to the point. This is a this is a podcast that highlights all of the turnaround points in individuals' lives who you've done, changed or pivot. Like that was like the biggest word in 2020. Like
Hmm.
pivot. We have to pivot. Everybody has to change. So it's kind of like turnaround, right? Like, how can you at least talk about Maka Dreads first, and then how it, if any, did it affect 2020? Did it affect your career or business at that time?
So 2020, I would say affected me major, but it was also a year that was eye opening for me in 2020 because in the beginning of 2020, I had a series I created, which was a panel series with another person that has another online platform, but she's in the health and wellness space. And we had like a whole series of panels that we had basically from starting February all through June. And from there, we was going to go to a second series. That had to go to a major halt because we started the series in February. No, was it February or March? In the beginning of February, going on March, I believe. Around in March, I'm sorry about that. We was meeting in February about that. And it was called I forgot. You see, that's how long ago. I forgot the name of it.
Black
But it
and
was
wellness.
Black and Well. Black and Well was the platform, but the series that we had to do was about basically wellness, but it has to do everything from how to be wellness as far as being an entrepreneur, wellness in your finances, wellness in your education, as far as like as far as like not only keeping yourself educated about what you do on a daily basis, but how are you educating yourself on the things that we need to do on every day that you really don't even think about. And that's just synopsis of what the series was in the beginning of it. And by the time we got to the second panel, it was on a hold. And one of the girls for the third panel, she was calling me. She was just like, I don't think you should do the second panel. The first panel, we had like a full audience of people. By the second panel, it was half. And this is like the week that they're saying how when New York City started shutting down, but things were still open in New York, but it was a lot of places were closing down, but things were
Right.
still open. And this is the time when you was on a train and the train was kind of like going to slowly ghost town. So a lot of people didn't come, and it was all due to this pandemic, and everything just came to a major halt from there. But like I said, it was eye opening as far as like it made me focus on the things that I really should focus on. And this is where I kind of like decided to take a pause on doing a normal website things just to focus on other things that I was kind of like neglecting in my personal life and things around me.
Okay. So do you feel like, for me, I felt like 2020 was like this reset year where you kind of got to sit down and rethink a lot of things and kind of focus on yourself and really what you want, because people
Right.
were passing away. So it was just like, okay, we only got one life to live, and how can we do it to celebrate the things that we like to do, that we want to do, that feeds us? So would you did you think that from now is 2021, how has that like benefited who you are today?
Oh, it made like I said, it was a eye opening year because just like you said, it made me realize the things that I really wanted to do, basically. So I kind of slowed down on doing my website in 2020 because we couldn't meet in person with people, and it started stretching me thin, the website. So to the point where I remember when I used to go to, I was, I because everybody's asking me, "Oh, what's going on with the interviews? You're not doing it no more." And I'm like, I just slowed down on it because I love meeting people, but sometimes networking events they take from you mentally, socially, and emotionally. There's times I would go to certain events, do certain things, and when I come home, I have to take a break from the world for like a week or two where I'm like, you know what, let me just focus on me, and not because you're just stretching yourself, then just always putting yourself out there. And sometimes you're just pouring your cup empty sometimes because you're just putting your whole self out there because you believe in your all inside your brand. And this is where I was. And 2020 was a year that made me kind of take a step back to look at that.
I would say that, and I kind of was happy that I think the one of the how we met was through an event, a social event, where it was
Hmm.
like women in media actually.
Yes, yes.
So that was it was actually a really good thing. I don't really go out, so but when I go, I make it a mission to kind of like make it work. If I connect with one person, two people, I think that day I kind of connected with like three people, and it was a huge,
Really? I
crowd.
thought you were just talking to everyone. So I thought you
Yeah,
were
but
connecting.
I do, but I also kind of like I'm specific on who I allow to really work with. Like, people are kind of like just in the, they're just there. They're like kind of like that background noise. But there's just like certain people that kind of stand out, right? Like I always go to a meeting and stand to myself and not really pay attention to nobody. And I allow the energy to attract the right person. And yeah, but I'll say hi to everybody, but it's usually it's like, okay, this is the person I really connect with. I can see a long term, like, friendship or something in the long term. But it's yeah, so yeah. And you walked up to me, so it was just kind of like I was like, okay, I've heard Maka dress before. I've seen it, but I was like, I didn't put a face to it, so I was happy. So I think that brand was great. You also did like a women's month. I think it was in 2019 or
Well, I
2020.
did it in, I started doing it in, I started doing it in 2019. No, 2018 was my first year of doing it. And 2019 was my second year of doing it. So what I wanted to do is, this is my way of giving back to the women that basically I interviewed on my website and that didn't know me from a hole in the wall like you. And I approached them because I did my research on their brand, and basically I loved what they were doing, and they sat down in to meet with me and interview with me on my website. So this was my way of giving back to them. So the photo shoots was a way that everybody likes to get dolled up. Who does not like to get dolled up, you know? So it was a way for me, like I teamed up with stylists, with makeup artists and photographers to do this basically. And we all collaborated together, and this is how these photo shoots idea came up. The first year it was kind of like a retro theme, and the second year was like the we wanted to Marie Antoinette theme. So this is where the whole gowns and the whole elegance and everything. And I was just so amazed because I was on my tippy toe for the whole set, but everybody seemed like they had so much fun. But the whole time I was freaking out, like, let's get this done, let's get this done, let's get this
It
done.
was it was fun. It was really good. A really great crowd of people that like you were connected with. Like that, I was just waiting for the next year. Like I was like, and then 2020 happened. But I was just kind of like,
Right.
but it was great to see what worked. Like it was the networking of people, the women, the celebration. I'm pretty sure you turned a lot of people's lives around just to see because I mean a lot of people don't really get interviewed, right? Like it's just kind of or put on this scale where it was just kind of like magazine esque, right? Like it was just like, okay, we're dressed up in something that I probably would have never put on. Like I think I had on like a wedding, like a wedding gown. I was like, oh, this is extra. But it was a different thing, and I was like thankful that you allowed us to do that and you thought about me. So I was just yes. Um, okay, so let's move on. Um,
Okay.
all right. So in your childhood, do you feel like there was something that led you like how you go back and you think about your childhood and you're like, these are the things that I used to like doing. Do you feel like you're revisiting those things or those a few things in your childhood have like played part in who you are now and what you want to do?
That's a funny question. because I don't care what anybody say. I could sing. Okay, I should have been Beyonce. I was a girl as a kid in the mirror singing all day, off note, off key, but you couldn't tell me nothing I could sing. So, as far as like the entertainment aspect of what I did with my website, I would say yes, because I always loved entertainment. Always loved the spotlight. Not for me. Like I hate being in the spotlight. Like I'm the kind of girl that'll be in a corner and cheer the person in the spotlight. Yes, girl, you got this. I'm that person. So the whole point of me starting my website was a way for me to spotlight people that basically needed the shine, that I feel like, hey, more people should know about you because you're amazing, you're dope. And this is basically what drive me to do the website and all that. So the connection of me in the mirror as a kid singing all day thinking I was going to be Beyonce, but my dreams got shattered one day in choir. And growing up and just meeting people that are doing amazing things and nobody knows about them, and it basically drew me in to do the website.
Can we expect the website to get back? What can we expect
It
in
will. It
2021?
definitely will. I've been putting major thought to that. Like I said, I took a step back in 2020 to focus on life and my personal needs. But with that being said, there's this itch in me, this creative itch in me that I still feel to now. Because even during 2020, even though I did stop doing the whole interviews and panel series that I planned out with the woman that owns Black and Well, I wasn't creative, and that always bothered me. So I have so many little plans that I made that I just haven't put the steps out to do it yet. But it's gonna come back. It's gonna come back, but it might be a little different this time around. But it's something that I can't just let it sit down and die because the creative side of me just won't let me do that.
I feel you. I understand. Like this, to be closer to God is to create. So it's in us to want to create, and when we don't, we just feel like, oh, what's the point? And this is something like
Yeah.
trying to break through. Like, yeah, it's time. Come on, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be a little different because you've gone through a whole lot, you've seen a lot, and you're getting to know yourself, especially with all the time that we had just being by ourselves. So I'm pretty sure Micah Dreads, the fact that it was so amazing, and you were doing a lot of it on your own,
Yeah.
like, so could you imagine just with a little bit of help? Because you were doing everything on your own, and it was amazing.
It's
So
so funny you said that. I remember I had an interview with Marie Driven, and when I went to her office to interview her, she was like, "Oh, your team is coming, right?" I was like, "No, it's me." She was just like, "It's you." She was like, "You carried all this stuff?" I was just like, "Yeah, yeah. I don't have a team yet. It's just me." And she was just so surprised. And everybody that I've met that's seen the website, seen the social, see how I operated, they always thought I had a team, but it was just a one man show for a long time. A long time.
and people need to see that, like, you listen, you changed the way people thought about, like, oh, maybe I need a whole team to do this, but it's like, no, if
Oh
you
no, no,
really
no.
want to,
You
you do
still
need it.
do. Oh,
But
let's get the.
to start,
Oh
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
if you can do it on your own, then people start to see that, like, oh, and then they come and be like, I want to help you because they see you doing the work. A lot of people, it's just more inspiring when you're like, oh my God, let me help. Like, what do you need me to do? I see the vision, right? So I admired everything.
Thank
And
you.
what can you tell? Um, I guess your younger self to what would you want to tell your younger self about what's to come?
Okay, so one of the things that I realized was an issue with me with when I did my website was that monetization. So I would tell my younger self a few things. You know more than you think you know. Number two is before you put your step in, learn how to monetize this because your pockets may not like it later on. Is it? I only one thing I had to say, right? But I feel like I have like a whole plethora of things.
I mean, you can say more if you like feel the urge to go there. Then you can tell her and warn her, encourage her.
Oh, okay. Okay, so the second one was you know more than what you think you know, because many times we are our biggest critics and we doubt ourselves from everything. And what I'm looking at, I'm doubting, you're looking at it at like, oh, this is amazing, So just trust in yourself more, basically. You know more what you think you know and trust in yourself. Because if you trust in yourself, and not try to always look for a second opinion on just okaying what you do, and just be like, believe that I'm dope. I got this. So I'll tell my younger self, like, listen, you're dope, you got this, and you know more than you think you know. Not to say like I'm a genius or anything like that, because we all learning, but
No, it's perfect. I wouldn't even have thought that. That is something that a lot of people forget. When you're growing up, you're looking for the approval of your parents or your siblings and your friends, and or you just sound crazy, right? To think you can do all of this, and everybody's like, "Girl, bye," like you can't do that or whatever. You're just kind of like, really? Um, but it is to just kind of like believe in yourself and your intuition and like, I'm dope. You can't share big
yeah,
dreams with small minds. Like, um, but thank
it's
you
so
so
true.
much. Thank you so much, Andrea. I'm
It's
not
so
going to take
funny
up
to tell
more of your
you.
time.
Now, I was gonna say one thing.
Okay.
It's so funny when you say that, because even though in a pandemic, when I sat back and I looked at my old videos, especially the photo shoot videos, the promos, I'm like, you did that? Nah, that's not, I didn't do that. And and that's one of the creative bugs where I'm like, you need to put more stuff out there like that. So, as I said from the message before, you know more than you think you know, and you're dope. So believe in your dopeness and don't care what anybody else has to say about it.
Yes, like listen, I was looking at the production of the whole thing. I'm like, Andrea is doing her thing. Like I'm like kind of like, well, it's good to have like that feeling where people are like, when are you coming back, right? Like if people are saying like, when you coming back, it's more of like, okay, they'll be here when you do, right? It's not like it's not pressure. It's just more like we liked all the things that you were doing, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna probably do something way better, or the same thing. Either way, we are like there, like I'm here for it because it was great, right? So it's better to have that than other people be like, I was waiting for you to stop that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, it's like, we were saying no, but we're really like, this is something big. And we really just figured out how it works. We're all going to get this that back. Um, where we start doubting ourselves and it's like, does anybody see us? What's going on? And then, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, Eureka. Like now it makes sense. That's why I was like, let me contact you because I'm like, you understand. Like you've been there, you've helped. You've also gave a mentor session with the kids at YTC. So that's also like, thank you for that. Um, didn't want to go off and mention, I almost forgot to mention that. But
Okay.
they learned a lot of tips from like interviewing people. So
Yeah.
really don't doubt yourself. You know more than you think you know. And you're dope.
Thank you. And you're dope too. I have to say, this braid series that you're doing with the clothes, I feel like it's so beautiful. It's so amazing. Like, I could literally see, and I'm gonna speak this into existence for you, and I pray that you receive this. That
I'll
Met
take it.
Gala, Met Gala, do one of their Met Gala. What do they do? Their annual balls, and one of the themes will be that for the women. I'm
I
like, that's so
pray.
beautiful.
I pray. And that was me pivoting. I like literally retired from doing people's hair to focus on my
Oh,
creative
really?
part.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
this month was my last month doing people's hair, and last year helped me pivot because, of course, the beauty world was non-essential, right? So I couldn't do anything. And then when it started opening up, I ended up starting to get back into my clients, and then I broke my ankle. So I was like, I had to sit
Oh, sorry to
down.
hear that.
Yes, but I mean, in the silver lining was I got to sit down and I had to like really say, okay, even giving my clients the excuse, like I can't do it, right? Like, and I focused on YTC and I started getting back to designing because I could sit and do it, right? Like I didn't have to travel or anything like that, and I just kind of poured into that, and it was just kind of like that nagging feeling. It was like, Karen, you gotta let go of those clients. You got to this is what you got. Like you gotta, and I just was like sent out an email to everybody. I was like, I'm done. um, but yeah, I was like, let me focus on creating. Like I'm an artist, I'm a creative. Like I have to, like So when you do people here, you don't have that much creative uh, freedom. You got to do what they want, right? Like I feel like what
Mhm.
I want to do. Like I want to do this. I want to do these colors. So thank you, and I receive it. I receive all of that. I receive it. Thank
You're welcome.
you. Okay, so you make this about me. It's not about me, Andrea. This is about you and the amazing work that you're doing and will continue to do because I see greatness in you because you are smart, you're brilliant, you're amazing. So I'm just kind of like I'm here for it. I'm gonna be in the sidelines just looking. So
I receive all that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
all right, so everybody, please make sure you follow Andrea at Maka Dreads. It's MAKADREZ
DREZ. Mhm.
on Instagram and also makadreads.com. When her site is ready, she'll definitely upload that stuff. So just contact her and make her your friend. So thank you, Andrea. I am closing off. See you in a few.